Silo just captured its own hero, and there's only one episode left after this to fix it. Episode 8, Grey Goo, finally answered the biggest question this entire show has been sitting on since its very first episode, and then ended with Juliet in custody. Episode 9, titled Farewell, is confirmed for this Friday, August 28, and based on everything Apple has revealed so far, I think this is going to be one of the heaviest hours this show has ever produced. Let's go through exactly what Episode 8 left us with, what's actually confirmed for Episode 9, and where I think all of this is heading with only one episode left after it. First, a quick reminder of how devastating Episode 8's ending actually was. Juliet got the information she needed, that Jimmy's mother had sacrificed herself years earlier by welding the safeguard pipe shut from the inside, and that intel reached the resistance safely through Kennedy before disaster struck. But Juliet herself never got the chance to act on it. Camille captured Sandy and used her as leverage, forcing Juliet to surrender rather than risk Shirley's life in the process. The episode ended with Juliet in custody, standing right next to Robert Sims, the husband who's been secretly working against his own wife all season. Meanwhile, in the before times, Paris Stenson finally laid out the full truth behind the entire 50 Silo project. Weaponized nanotechnology, dubbed Grey Goo, was the real threat that justified all of it, and Charlotte learned her own final mission had been deliberately used as bait to provoke Iran and gauge their capabilities. Stenson offered all three of them, Charlotte, Daniel, and Helen, a place inside his project. Charlotte accepted and stayed. Daniel and Helen walked away together instead, in a scene that ended with an actual kiss as their helicopter lifted off. Now, what's officially confirmed for Episode 9? Apple's own description says Camille is preparing an announcement that shocks all of Silo 18. Given everything we know, I think there are really only a couple of directions this can go. Camille now holds Juliet, the person half the Silo already treats like a living legend. She could use this moment to publicly discredit Juliet entirely, framing her capture as proof of treachery, to crush the rebellion before it can organize further. Or, given how uneasy Camille has looked all season about the lies she's been asked to tell, this could be the moment she finally breaks from the script. The algorithm has been feeding her and reveals something closer to the truth. Either way, I don't think this announcement is going to be about Juliet alone. It's going to be about what kind of leader Camille actually decides to become, with real, total power sitting in her hands for the first time. And here's what I think makes Juliet's capture slightly less hopeless than it looks. Kennedy's message about the pipe already reached Shirley, Martha, Bernard, and the rest of the resistance before Camille ever got her hands on Juliet. That means the fight doesn't actually stop just because its most famous face is now in custody. Martha's final line of Episode 8, that she has no intention of living long enough to forget Juliet, tells you exactly where her head is at heading into this episode. I think we're going to watch the Resistance make a genuinely difficult choice about whether to move forward with their plan, even knowing it could put Juliet directly in harm's way, rather than simply waiting to see what happens to her. Then there's Sims, who I think is now the single most unpredictable piece on this entire board. He spent the whole season secretly protecting Juliet while pretending total loyalty to Camille, and Episode 8 ended with him standing right next to a now-captured Juliet. Whether he continues protecting her from the inside, whether Camille finally sees through him completely, or whether his own crisis about losing everything he built his identity around finally comes to a head, I think his choices this episode carry as much weight as Juliet's fate does. As for the before times, Apple confirms Daniel and Helen attend a special event after walking away from Stenson's project entirely, while Charlotte remains behind, having chosen to stay. Given the title of this episode is literally Farewell, and given Charlotte just tearfully said goodbye to her own brother in Episode 8, while choosing the project over leaving with him, I think this event is likely tied directly to that separation, possibly the true beginning of construction, or some kind of formal turning point that cements just how differently these three people's lives are about to diverge. Daniel and Helen chose freedom and the outside world. Charlotte chose to stay inside the very machine that used her as bait. With only one episode left in the season after this, I think whatever this event actually is will tell us a lot about how directly Charlotte's choice ties into the world we already know gets built. Silo Season 3, Episode 9, Farewell, premieres Friday, August 28 on Apple TV+, with the season finale following on September 4. Season 4 has already been confirmed as the show's final season. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Camille's shocking announcement helps Juliet or destroys her completely? And what do you think that special event actually is that finally splits Charlotte from Daniel and Helen for good? Because after everything episode 8 just gave us, I honestly don't think this show is capable of giving us an easy answer to either question.